Well, let me first just say thank you so much for having me. It's a real privilege and a pleasure to be with you all today. The topic that CGA asked me to speak about, it's really close to my heart. I think a lot of people throw around this phrase, education can change your life, casually, but it's really something I take deeply seriously and personally. And perhaps nowhere is that more obvious than listening to Jamie talk about his experience, what he did and didn't get from his education and what was motivating him to set up Crimson Global Academy, but also seeing all of these questions come through from parents and from potential students. You know, I see this profound journey that you've already been on to get to where you are today, and that you still have this amazing journey ahead of you, depending on what choices you make in terms of your education. Education's changed my life in almost every way. I think it's really easy after you hear my introduction, thank you very much, Harry, and also you see some of my work experience, to assume that my professional background was very straightforward. I'd love to give you a glimpse into my background and the actual twists and turns along the way as you begin to chart your own pathways today. I grew up in a fairly isolated and rural part of Queensland, which is in the northeastern part of Australia. It's not really known for having a thriving metropolis or urban centres of academic excellence. It's farm country. It's famous for its fruit and for its hardworking and down-to-earth people. Did I mention the population of my town today, many decades later, is just 1,200 people. We didn't have a TV in our home. And as for my educational experience, I went to 8 different schools in 12 years and 4 different universities across 4 countries. I'm actually the first person on both sides of my extended family to get a university degree. It was never a given that I would move seamlessly from school to university into a career. But even though I wasn't exactly sure, or in some cases, not even sure what I wanted to do, let alone how to do it, I always trusted that if I worked hard enough, if I kept an open mind, I could get there. So I want to share with you 5 ideas in my education journey. And I'd love to leave these with you for you to reflect on as you're thinking about your choices moving forward. My first idea, you don't have to be defined by wherever you've come from. I'm very proud of my Queensland heritage and my family's humble roots. It's a big part of who I am today. But it hasn't been the predictor or the indicator of my success or trajectory. I think sometimes it's easy to believe that where we come from determines where we can realistically get to. I've been really humbled to get to know people like Mitch Kapoor, who's an international technology innovator and investor, and embrace one of his most common sayings, that genius is evenly distributed by zip code, but opportunity is not. In other words, your capacity for greatness can be separate from your origin story. They will at times overlap, and you'll bring amazing power and unique perspective from your history into your future, but one doesn't have to define the other. Whatever you might be overcoming or experiencing right now in your life, turn it into something that you can use to thrive and move forward. For me, I only decided on my university degree, which was an international degree program, because I made it my business to ask lots of people a lot of questions, which is the second idea I'd love to impart to you. Ask questions to everyone. So many people don't ask, and those unanswered questions can make all the difference in their lives and the choices they make. In my experience, when you're sincerely seeking answers, you'll find people will want to help you find them. You won't sound ignorant. You'll appear ambitious, curious, and open, which is exactly what the world needs more of. So please ask. I was so grateful to the people who took the time to listen to me and help guide me and uncover things I didn't even know existed, like a degree program or a scholarship opportunity, or even specializations. Had I not asked, I would never have known about these opportunities, and I wouldn't have been able to take full advantage of them. My own international degree, which started from Australia all the way through to Japan, mainland China, and Thailand, ended up helping me focus on Asia, which I'd already gotten a taste for when I went to Thailand as a Rotary International student on a scholarship. It also put me on the map in a very real way. And I'm going to repeat one of my fun facts as Harry shared. I've been lucky enough to study, work, live, and travel in over 75 countries. And I speak 8 Asian languages, which is a little bit surprising when you're a 6-foot-tall Australian. People don't expect that, but it's a wonderful gift to bring into the workplace. Importantly, I started that degree because I wanted to be an ambassador. That's what I thought I was destined to be, a champion of my country and our culture. And I started my career in the Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade, trusting that my path from there would be a series of clearly laid out steps, which of course it was not. And that brings me to my third idea. It's okay if you don't know what you want yet or right now, or if your plan looks a little different from what you imagined at some point in the future. Many times in my career and my life, I've been faced with unanticipated challenges and presented with unexpected opportunities to swerve and take a different direction. Saying yes, even to the unknown, has made all the difference. I have a double degree in Asian political science and Asian languages. Sounds perfect for a civil servant, wannabe future diplomat, but then I took a sharp left into the corporate world, ended up working for companies like the Coca-Cola Company and Google and Uber, all before I came to Netflix. I have walked a truly non-linear path across 10 different industries. It's one I couldn't have predicted for myself, but I also don't have any regrets. I've spent my career making great, long-lasting relationships, representing my company, helping to educate people about what we do, but also about the nuances of different countries and the cultures we operate in, and helping solve hard problems across different communities. In many ways, I am being an ambassador, just in a different way to how I imagined I would. Even through the hard lessons, and some have been very hard, I've learned something. And those lessons have shaped who I am today and how I lead. Progress won't be a straight line, but progress is better than perfection. So please jump in, take a leap, take a chance, trust yourself. It's always an opportunity to learn something, even if you decide that's not the right path for you and you change your direction entirely. Each experience I've gained, whether it's from working with different types of people to learning new types of technical skills or building new networks and relationships, for example, has proved to be incredibly transferable. Education has changed my life in almost every way, and I'm certain it will change yours. So my fourth idea, education doesn't finish when you leave an institution. Education isn't just about being at a school or a university. I love that this conversation is starting from high school. It's really in every conversation. It's in every meeting room, every book you read, every podcast you listen to. I really define the word as being alive to the world around you, always, and understanding there are lessons to be learned in all sorts of really profound ways. Hopefully, you'll never stop learning. That's one of my own personal goals. If you can embrace this attitude and be comfortable with the discomfort of not knowing, leaning into your learning curve, then your career path can take you on an incredible journey. I didn't see Netflix coming, but I know that each role I have has taken me further and prepared me faster in some ways to do what I'm doing today and lead the team that I have now. Education will change your life, but it isn't just one thing or one point or place in time. And lastly, if I can leave you all with this idea, run your own race. Each morning, I normally get up around 5. Yes, I'm an early starter, and I start my day with 10Ks. It's quiet and it's how I focus myself. But whether you're a runner or not, we're all in some kind of race. I think of this as the perpetual forward motion of life and its many adventures. It's tempting to look around you and worry that you're not meeting some kind of arbitrary or invisible checklist. But there are truly no checklists, and there's no right or wrong time to begin something or to begin again. Toni Morrison, Marcel Proust, and Mark Twain, they all started writing books in their 40s. And in Morrison's case, she went on to win a Pulitzer Prize and a Nobel Prize in literature. In my case, both my parents decided to pursue higher education and change their careers in their 40s and 50s. And to this day, they remind me that ultimately you set your own pace and you determine what your personal best will be, nobody else. So while you're full of excitement and ambition, which I applaud, don't forget that you always also have time to plan, to think, to dream, and to create. You'll also have time to fail, to try again, and even to reinvent yourself if that's what you want to do. So don't worry if the path is unclear or if it's bumpy at times, or if it takes you in a completely different direction than you imagined. It's all part of the journey. So for everybody on the call today, whatever choices you make from here, I wish you every success. Be bold in your choices. Be brave as you bring your whole self into your future experiences. And please, be the example you wish you'd seen more of so that other people can be inspired by you and the choices you made and embark on their own journeys. Thank you so very much for having me.